Hey guys, LevelCap here, and this week in gaming, Sony are finally revealing the PlayStation 5's price. The CSGO cheating scandal has continued, Black Ops Cold War multiplayer was revealed, and more. It's been Microsoft's best week yet leading up to their launch of the Xbox Series X and the S. While the reveal of the Series S and both console prices was triggered in part by a leak that forced the reveal, gamers have viewed the reveal as a big blow to Sony. With Microsoft's cat out of the bag, it's on Sony to steal back some thunder, and it looks like they're finally revealing the PlayStation 5's price and release date on September 16th. Of course, it wouldn't be next-gen console news without some leaks ruining the surprise. According to various sources, including a Twitter and Amazon listing, the PlayStation 5 will allegedly launch on November 20th for $499. The all-digital PlayStation 5 will launch on the same day for $399. By comparison, the Xbox Series S, which is the less powerful but equally next-gen version of the Xbox Series X, is launching at $299. Unlike the Series S, however, the PlayStation 5 digital version doesn't seem to be a cut down or otherwise diminished product. Really, it's just a regular PlayStation 5 with no disk drive. The leaks also say that the PlayStation 5 will offer 825 gigabytes of storage, with about 175 gigabytes reserved for system storage. That's quite a bit less than the Xbox Series X's 1 terabyte internal drive, but it's still a nice bump up from the Series S, which only offers 512 gigabytes internally. Considering how expensive storage expansion for the Xbox Series consoles will be, it'll likely be a key point of contention for gamers. If these leaks turn out to be accurate, it sounds like the Sony will position the PlayStation 5 launch as a no-compromises next-gen product line. The lower price of the Series S makes it a very attractive offer, but how many gamers will be satisfied with a 1440p console that only has 512 gigabytes of included storage? The saving grace for Microsoft, aside from their lower price point, is the Xbox Game Pass. So far, Sony haven't really announced anything that really compares to Microsoft's game subscription service, and it's become a huge talking point for both the media and gamers. The value that Microsoft offers with this package is undeniable. I'm sure all eyes will be on Sony this Wednesday to see how they respond to Microsoft. Valve have delivered a double gut punch to the CSGO esports scene. They've officially canceled the upcoming Rio Major that was scheduled for November. They also responded to the recent uncovered coach camera exploit that allowed coaches to watch matches in unintended ways that gave them a massive advantage in official tournaments. Instead of the Rio Major, regional major ranking events will be held online to keep track of each region's best teams. When it's safe to host another major, these RMR online rankings will determine who qualifies and who will have to compete for a spot. Unfortunately for teams caught abusing that coach camera exploit, their RMR score has officially been reset. The reset only extends to teams that have been disqualified because of the exploit, but the number of affected teams is growing. Valve is waiting on third parties like esports ethics commissions and event organizations to determine a course of action against the coaches themselves. The scandal is also making them reevaluate if coaching will even be allowed during official matches. Valve has always taken a tough stance regarding coaching, and the exploit might just be the straw that broke the camel's back. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War had a big multiplayer reveal event this week. It covered the content of the game's current alpha build and offered hints at the future of its Warzone integration. Since the reveal, tons of gameplay from the event and other sources have been released. The general consensus is unsurprisingly divided. Some see Cold War as a step back from the Modern Warfare's more realistic visuals and animations. Others view Cold War as a more traditional or old-school Call of Duty. Probably the key takeaway from the reveal is that Warzone will be updated to include all of Cold War's weapons, operators, and content. It's unclear what Warzone will ultimately become when Cold War launches. Will it get a massive overhaul as the ongoing nuclear conflict Easter eggs have been alluding to? Will it be split into two distinct versions? How will the different weapon tuning of Cold War jive with Modern Warfare's existing roster of weapons? There are many questions left to answer. One thing we do know is that yet the game's beta is kicking off soon. It starts on October 8th for PlayStation 4 pre-order customers and trickles to other platforms until finally going full open on all platforms October 15th. Hopefully, this will be a more in-depth look at the game than we've seen so far. Ubisoft hosted another Forward live event showcasing a Prince of Persia remake, a new MMO motocross game, and more. While the reaction to the event has been pretty mixed, one bright spot was the surprise launch of Rainbow Six Siege's latest operation, Shadow Legacy. It adds Sam Fisher from the Splinter Cell franchise as an attacker called Zero. His gadget is a camera that can be shot through walls to reveal what's on the other side. Overall, I'd say Shadow Legacy is a great update to the game. Ubisoft has also confirmed the big Tachanka rework is still debuting this season, which is also great to hear. As for Siege Esports, Ubisoft announced the Siege World Cup. It kicks things off in the middle of next year with 45 countries competing for the World Champion title. Microsoft, Sony, and Nvidia all made some big headlines with their next-gen hardware over the past 2 weeks, and AMD are finally joining in. They've announced 2 events, one on October 8th and one on October 25th. The first event will focus on their next-gen Ryzen 4000 CPUs. The second will cover the next-generation RDNA2 GPUs. Considering that a version of these GPUs is already powering the next-gen consoles with 4K native 120 FPS gameplay, it's safe to say that AMD will come out swinging for Nvidia's RTX 3000 series GPUs. As for CPUs, AMD have been clobbering Intel for the past 3 years with their Ryzen lineup, but it doesn't seem like they have any major enhancements in the work for the Ryzen 4000 CPUs. They'll use the same 7nm process current Ryzen CPUs are based on, so expect a modest uptick in performance and potentially lower prices. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds' latest update is making 2 big additions to the game. The first is a ferry service on Erangel that will take you back and forth between the map's 2 islands. The other is a jammer pack that gives players temporary immunity to the blue zone. The jammer is available on Karakin and Sanok. It automatically activates when you enter the blue zone and protects you for a limited time. The later into the match you survive, the more damage the blue zone does and the less time the jammer will protect you. As for the ferries, they sit at the docks for about 20 seconds before departure, so you'll have to act fast to utilize them properly. In our final story this week, Apple has finally loosened their grip on iOS game streaming apps. Well, kind of. They updated the App Store's terms of service to allow Stadia and Microsoft's xCloud, but you'll have to download their available games through the App Store itself. And while having to download games from an app streaming service kind of defeats the point, it's still a step in the right direction for Apple. Their ongoing legal battle with Epic is likely to cause a lot of change for iOS apps and developers. Hopefully the outcome is a more flexible marketplace, but for right now, it seems like Apple is doing everything they can to maintain strict control of the App Store and its content. And that does it for this week in gaming. Next week is undoubtedly going to be a big one for gamers worldwide, so make sure you're subscribed to get all the details. Let me know in the comments down below if there's any stories that stood out for you in particular. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.